Prince Harry pushing ahead with his court case against NGN newspapers, and specifically The Sun, the newspaper I used to be executive editor, of course. I revealed earlier this week, Lady C, that I have been asked if I would give evidence based on previous witness statements that I have submitted, and I'm happy to. And I'm not doing so, Lady C, by the way, because I think that NGN's conduct in all of this scandal has been good. I mean, they absolutely did appalling, terrible things years and years and years ago where they hacked phones and all of that. But I had nothing to do with that ever. I am under oath, on record, during the Leveson inquiry, and Prince Harry has tried his awful brand of lawfare with me and my reporting in the past. As you know, he got nowhere because he was spreading lies. But if he wants to take me on in court, absolutely fine, because someone, Lady C, has to stick up for journalism a little bit, and has to stick up for the fact that actually he's using this court case not because of the truth, but because he wants to enact some sort of sick revenge on his father and his brother.
Well, he's also very envious and jealous. And it's not only, it's revenge because he's not going to be king. But he's a very sick and disturbed person. And he's very disturbing. But the fact of the matter, first of all, Dan, I have to tell you, I think it's wonderful what you're doing. And secondly, may I make a very important point?
Please.
Harry is trying to present himself as a champion of decency when the whole situation has changed. All the improprieties that took place before have been cleaned up. So he is trying to say that he's going to change something that has already changed. There's nothing to clean up. And indeed, I was approached when by the police to complain about the Sun and the Times, and I refused to do it. They had, my numbers, and that I'd been invaded, let's put it that way.
Yes.
Primarily over my children coming, when I got my children from Russia. And I refused to do it because I said, the price you pay for being a public figure and for having a privileged position is that there are already mechanisms in place. You can sue for libel, etc. And to an extent, we need a free press more than we need celebrities and public figures to be protected so that they can get up to mischief in private.
All right, folks, let's talk about the absolute mess that is Prince Harry's latest stunt. Lady Colin Campbell, yes, the royal insider who's been calling things as they are for years, has just gone nuclear on Harry, calling him a serial abuser for the way he's treating King Charles, while his father is battling cancer. I mean, if that's not rock bottom, I don't know what is. Just think about this for a second. Your own father is sick, possibly battling an incurable disease, and instead of supporting him, you're out here suing his government? That's not just petty, that's downright cold-blooded.
Totally. Exactly. It's a cost of journalism, isn't it? I've been hacked as well in the past. I've never spoken about it because, Harry is using this. That is the point. Harry is using this, and it's not about the truth. And as I say, I have nothing to hide. That's the thing. There are probably journalists, Lady C. In fact, I know there are journalists who would do anything to avoid staying out of court because they have a lot to hide in their journalism, right? Because they did break the law. And to me, that's despicable. But I have nothing to hide. I've never, ever, ever broken the law in my journalism, ever. So bring me to court, and I am more than happy to justify every single story that I've ever broken about Harry. And specifically, those stories about Harry and Meghan, by the way, were being, fed to me, or however you want to put it. I had multiple sources who were so horrified by their behavior And these were people who were close to the late Queen, people who were close to people who were close to the now King, people who were close to Prince William, but also people who were close to Prince Harry and Meghan themselves. And it was all legitimate journalism. I have never ever hacked anything. I have never ever hacked a phone ever. So, you know, if a journalist actually has to go in and stand up for some real journalism and bring some home truths about Harry, I mean, look, they'll probably try and throw everything at me because it's David Sherborne who's always had an issue with me, but I've got nothing to hide.
Darling, I don't think you need to worry because they tried it. Remember, David Sherborne with Byline Times and Harry, and they tried to destroy you. They got your ex-partner to tell a whole heap of lies about you. There were whole heaps of inventions. You know, there were police investigations in Scotland and England, and you've used, but this is so abusive. And Harry is a serious abuser, and he is a serial abuser.
Yes.
And when you stop to think that his father has cancer, which is most likely incurable, and he is doing this, Harry, let's be clear about what Harry is doing. Harry is suing his father's government. Mm-hmm. And Harry is also using his father's courts. And Harry is trying to breach the veil of secrecy that is accepted in officialdom, where a head of state's transactions are always secret. And it's just as how journalists don't have to reveal their sources, heads of state are not supposed to reveal their sources or their actions either. And Harry has applied for Lord Guyte and Lord Young, the former Sir Christopher Guyte and Sir Edward Young, both the late Queen's private secretaries. So Harry's not only going after his father, he's going after his grandmother, who he's supposed to have loved so much that he made the last few years of her life a total misery, and helped to, in my opinion, shorten her life, because, you know, stress is not desirable when you have cancer, especially when you're in a 90-something-year-old woman.
Harry is out here crying about truth and justice, but the reality? He's using lawsuits to settle personal scores. And the timing? Couldn't be worse. If you had any doubts about what kind of person he's become, this is it right here. Imagine how stressful this must be for Charles. And yet Harry doesn't seem to care. Because it's not about truth or justice. It's about revenge. And if that wasn't enough, now Dan Wooten himself is getting dragged into this legal circus. He just revealed that he's been asked to testify against Harry, and let me tell you, this could get ugly.
Well, no, I was just going to say, I'm so glad that you have made this point, because so many people seem to have missed the fact it isn't just William and Charles who he is trying to embarrass. It is also the late Queen. And when you just let that sink in, I mean, these were her private communications, Lady C. These communications were not being sent by Christopher Guyte to Newsgroup newspapers and Rebecca Brooks and all of the executives there. They were not being sent without the Queen's approval. And the fact that Harry is, it's just sick.
And that is the really important thing. The Queen is no longer alive. The Queen can't defend herself. He has previously attacked her legacy by saying that the Commonwealth is Empire Point 2.0, and that it's basically a racist organization for white people to suck from black people. I mean, remember on the Netflix show, it's beyond belief, the viciousness and the maliciousness with which he goes about attacking people. He is a truly vicious, nasty piece of work.
Yeah.
And the Queen is dead. He has already tried to damage her legacy in terms of the Commonwealth. And I know from Caribbean and African diplomats that it had a marked effect 2-3 years ago. It's not so effective now. And now he's trying to go behind her orchestration of dealing with realpolitik. The Queen was a head of state of a country that has a free press. The Queen understood as a responsible head of state that there needs to be a free press and that there has to be a symbiotic relationship with some symbiosis, but respect and parameters between the state which she embodies and between the press.
Exactly. There wasn't some shady deal. It wasn't.
No.
It's not how Harry is trying to present it in any way. There wasn't a shady deal. It wasn't dodgy. Quite simply, the fact is the late Queen, knew it was completely inappropriate for her family to be engaged in an ongoing legal battle over an issue which, let's be honest, Lady C, it was criminal and it was resolved. I think sometimes people forget this. The hacking of Prince William and Prince Harry, which was completely unacceptable, totally legal, it's totally illegal, utterly disgusting. I mean, as a journalist, I'm disgusted by anyone who would hack anyone. So that was sorted. People went to jail and the newspaper, the News of the World, which I used to work for, shut. So it's not as if there were not massive ramifications, because as you also point out, Lady C, the whole way that Fleet Street and the Fourth Estate operated in this country changed as a result. Harry is trying to rewrite history and act as if there wasn't that reckoning. And he is doing it not only to try and take out his enemies in the press, he's also doing it to try and embarrass his family. And it's never based on the truth with him. It's like he lives in his own little world, and David Sherborne and Elton John have fed all of these bizarre theories into his head. But thank you for calling it out, Lady C.
So let me get this straight. Harry is suing the Sun and its parent company, claiming they invaded his privacy. But here's the catch. He's going after stuff that happened decades ago. The phone hacking scandal? It's already been exposed, reported on, and dealt with. But now Harry wants to use it as a weapon. And Lady C is right. He's acting like he's exposing some huge scandal when the whole world already knows about it. This isn't about fixing the media. It's about settling scores with his father and his brother. It's about power and control. At this point, it's obvious. Harry doesn't just want justice. He wants to punish everyone who didn't give him what he wanted. And honestly, it's backfiring. Let's be real. Harry's entire public image is in free fall. And according to Lady C, it all comes down to jealousy. This explains everything. The lawsuits, the attacks on his family, the Netflix deals that fell apart. It's all about revenge. And now it's so obvious that even people who used to defend him are calling him out.
You know I love having you.
And let's not forget, Dan, that Rupert Murdoch has paid out hundreds of millions of pounds.
Isn't it like $1 billion now? It's ridiculous amounts of money.
It's for Harry to pretend that there is any need for him to do. There's every need for him to not do what he's doing. It is the height of treachery. I was told by somebody I spoke to that the family regards it as a total betrayal. It's treacherous, and that his behavior is totally unacceptable. And Harry uses his irrationality to destroy, and he wants to pretend that he is championing, that he is a dragon slayer. Well, he's not an 6-year-old child anymore. By the time you're 8 or 10, if you're a child, you're not slaying dragons anymore. But he at 40 is slaying dragons. The man is so seriously drug-addled and so seriously disturbed that really this has the potential, depending on what emerges, to seriously damage the conduct of a head of state with his or her private communication. Confidential is the better word. Confidential communications. But
totally. But he will not. There's no limit to which he will stoop in his desire to destroy the free press, embarrass his family while he's at it. And that's why, thank goodness, you're shining a light on it. Lady Colin Campbell, brilliant as ever. We will speak very soon. Oh, and of course, you don't just need to follow Lady C on X, but also on YouTube, where you get all of these pearls of wisdom multiple times a week.
At this point, what's left for him? His Netflix deal is crumbling, Hollywood is turning away, and now he's burning what's left of his royal family connections. And while he's doing all of this, King Charles is just trying to stay alive. I mean, it doesn't get more heartless than this. So here's the big question. Is there any way back for Harry? Because let's be honest, he has burned every bridge at this point. If he ever thought he could just waltz back into the royal family, this should be a wake-up call. William doesn't trust him. Charles is too sick to deal with his drama. And the British public? They've had enough. Look at these numbers. Harry's approval ratings are in the gutter. People see through the act and they're done with the excuses. Even Meghan seems checked out at this point. And honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if she's planning her next move without him. Alright folks, if you liked this breakdown, hit that like button, subscribe for more, and let's get the conversation going. Do you think Harry has gone too far? Is there any way back for him? Drop your thoughts in the comments below.